To the weekend report for November 3rd, 2023. Thanks for tuning in. We are finally at that time of the year where we are about to hear Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas every hour on the hour. I'm down for it, though. I love that song. It makes me happy. So bring it on. Let's talk about what's been in the news this week, because it's a big week this week. We've had appreciation updates. We've had ADP and BLS job reports. Jobless claims for unemployment and mortgage applications. We'll get all of that in today. So let's start with a few slides, starting with appreciation. For the first time, Zillow showing a negative 0.1% loss in appreciation for the month of September. I'm not going to be too concerned here. The market has been slow. The interest rates have been high, and this is the time of year where people aren't moving quite as much. People, particularly with families, they need to be in their homes before the school year starts. So the winter period does tend to slow down a little bit. But as we continue to see interest rates, if we continue to see interest rates move down, that could tick up a bit. So we'll see, and I'll show you why I bring that up later on when we look at the MBS market charts. This week, as I mentioned, BLS and ADP came out. Over the past several months, the two reports have really been conflicting and contrary to one another. ADP has been more aligned with what we expected with job creations, but BLS has always been kind of blown expectations away. This is the first week where we've seen BLS and ADP actually showing lower than expectations. This is kind of where we thought we were going, and we're finally starting to see some cracks in that labor market. Specifically BLS, the expectation was 180,000 job creations, came in at 150. And revisions to the past 2 months were down 101,000. So again, taking away all those gains that they have reported, which set the market kind of on fire. So unfortunate that there's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to these initial reports, and then as the information's weighed out, not necessarily as good as it has seemed. What's important within this report is the average weekly hours, and I'm pointing this out because we've seen modest increases in income in terms of hourly earnings, which we would think is really good. But if the average weekly hours worked is lower, people aren't bringing home as much income, even if they're making a little bit more. In fact, we started this year with people working about 34.8 hours per week. And they are down now to 34.3. So it's continued to trend down throughout the year. And if you equate that based on the number of people that are actually within the survey, it equates to about 2 million job losses, that downtrend in hours worked. So that's huge. And that's something that's not paid a lot of attention to. Also within the BLS report is where we get our unemployment number. Now, the U3 number, which is the number that the Feds watch, did tick up from 3.8% to 3.9%. You can see jobs down 348,000 with this household survey report. The labor force, down 201,000. In terms of participation, it's trending lower as well. So U6, this is the all-in number for unemployment. It's not tracked as much, but again, it's also showing up. But what is important and what we've been talking about for weeks now is the number of people that are picking up part-time work, up 205,000 again. So another large increase in the number of people that are having to pick up supplemental work in order to basically make ends meet. Speaks volumes about that, because we continue to see people spending, which is interesting in my opinion. What we're seeing is that the savings is going down. So essentially people are spending money from their savings, which is not good. At some point that'll all come to a head. But also how this relates to how these numbers kind of relate to the MBS markets and interest rates. You can see we've had a very good week in the MBS markets. A lot of green here at the end. We have moved several basis points higher, making up pretty much all the losses for October, which is really good. Now, if we can get back, to 5.5%, we're not there in interest rates, but still, this is a positive movement, because we were close to 8% in interest rates just a few weeks ago. And now we're getting a little closer to the lower end of 7%. So it'd be nice when we get back to the mid fives, but going to be a while before we get there. So that's where we're at this week. Also, jobless claims, I do report those. That's, unemployment claims, initial claims up 5,000 week over week, and continuing claims up 35,000. So that does speak to the fact that people are having problems recovering full-time employment after they've left or been let go from their current positions. Mortgage applications were down week over week, 2%, refis down 4%. But be interesting to see what we get next week. And as we move into next week, if the MBS markets continue to do well, will those applications start to tick up? Will people get a little more reinvigorated by the movement in the MBS charts? We'll see as we continue to see interest rates slide down a little bit. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I do appreciate when you like my videos. Do feel free to share my videos or the information contained within them. If you know anybody that's looking to potentially refinance and consolidate debt, or anyone that's looking and thinking about purchasing, always a good idea to check out the numbers. I am happy to help. I do appreciate your referrals. That is a majority of my business. Otherwise, have a great weekend. It's looks like it's gonna be great weather, so enjoy it. Hopefully, we'll have a good CU game to watch. Still hoping they pull out a few more wins this year. We'll see. Otherwise, have a great day.